Hello, my name is Sean Copeland and welcome to another edition of Regent Elevate, our weekly video series, and we're continuing our series on leaving a legacy we can be proud of. I'm so excited. Last week's video has been our most viewed ever with almost 6,000 views to date, and I think you're going to enjoy this one just as much. As a review, I have interviewed 93 individuals to determine why their lives were so abundant and significant while so many other people struggle. So what I want to share with you is the differences. There's really 5 differences in their lives versus everyone else's. We've already talked about number 1, we need to develop a very clear vision for our life and who we want to be. Number 2, we need to focus more on others than ourselves. The givers tend to make the greatest difference in this world. Number 3, we need to focus on our best effort. No matter what we are doing, no sleepwalking. Let's always try to give our very best effort at whether it's at home or at work or in the community. Today we're going to talk about number 4, and as usual I want to share a story with you to articulate this key to success as well. My friend Sean Acor is an excellent author. He wrote a book called The Happiness Advantage, which you're going to be very interested in, I think, before we're done. And he's also a professor of positive psychology at Harvard. Sean grew up in Waco, Texas. He was a very good student. He got into Harvard really by luck. He didn't expect to make it in. He did a good job. He went away, got his PhD, and was hired to come back and teach. And when he was teaching, he had just started as a professor, and he began to realize that many of the students in his classes were irritable. They were kind of depressed, they seemed kind of down, they weren't really engaged with others, and they seemed to have the classic symptoms of being clinically depressed. And so as a psychologist, he began to dig in on this, and he talked with them, and he studied them, and sure enough, he found that 8 out of 10 of the students in his class were clinically depressed. Now this is Harvard. They have every advantage, they're the best of the best, very difficult school to get into. Why would they be depressed? He found out in his research that the reason that they struggled was that they were used to being number 1. Wherever they came from, they were the smartest, they were highly competitive, very, very driven, and so they were accustomed to being the best wherever they came from. Now, unfortunately, at Harvard, there was only one top student in the class, and the rest of them were not, and so they allowed this pressure, this feeling that they were letting everyone down, to really lead them into a depressed state. Now, what about the other 20%? Because if you use that logic, there ought to be one happy guy or girl, and all the rest of them should be depressed. But that wasn't the case. About 20% of the class was doing just fine. Very interesting. What he found was that 20% of the class were just like he was when he went to Harvard. When he would wake up in the morning, he would look around his dorm room, and he was just amazed that he was at Harvard. He'd walk across campus, couldn't believe that he was at Harvard. He'd go to class, look around, can't believe I'm here. And his gratitude overwhelmed the other feelings that he had. Same thing with these students. They wanted to be number 1 as well. They were just as competitive, they were just as driven, but the difference is their gratitude overwhelmed these other feelings. So in his book, as I mentioned, The Happiness Advantage, he talked about ways that we could all become more grateful in our lives. What he found out was gratitude is the key to many, many things. Happiness, fulfillment, success. And so in his book, he teaches these ways to improve our mindset of gratitude. Number 1, take some time every morning to write down 3 things that you are grateful for, 3 new things. I've been doing this for years. It is tough to think of something new, but it is amazing when we think about things that we're grateful for. Number 2, 3 minutes of journaling about something that you're thankful for. Number 3, 3 minutes of meditation or prayer of thanks, things that we are thankful for. Number 4, a random act of kindness to help someone else each and every day. And number 5, the least popular, 30 minutes of exercise. When we spend 30 minutes at least a day with our heart rate up, it helps to change our mind. Now, these are not spiritual suggestions. His suggestions are based upon chemical reactions within the brain and actual physical changes to our mind and to our brain that help us to feel more grateful. Why do I share this story with you? Because the 93 people that I interviewed that are so significant in making such a difference are the most grateful people that I know. They have allowed gratitude to overwhelm their lives. When I would ask them how they created such a wonderful life, how they create such a great company, organization, etc., family, they would say, Sean, I really don't know. I've just been so blessed. I have been so lucky. I have been surrounded by great people. I was in the right place at the right time. And you can just see that gratitude was just pervasive in their lives. Others of us tend to look at what we don't have. We're upset because we don't have this or that, and this person got a break we didn't get. That's not these people. They had been through very challenging experiences in their life, very challenging, but they all chose to focus on gratitude. So tip number 4 to leaving a legacy that we can all be proud of is to live a life of gratitude, to be grateful for what we have given. I hope you enjoyed this video. We look forward to seeing you back next week. Next week, we're going to wrap up our top 5 with a discussion on the importance of perseverance and making it through the difficult times to get to great times at the end. Thank you so much. Talk to you next week.